Actually, I'm more crooked now. Oops. And I have a mess in the background because I've been playing. Good to see y'all here. Quick one for right before Christmas. I have been having too much fun playing with sublimation. This is addicting, I will have to tell you, because in a few seconds you can have something out the door. So this is for Princess. I just did this one in the room. So I'm going to give you a couple of tips and tricks on this before I start software. If you are playing with sublimation, a little cheater's trick that you might want to do is when you pre-press to get the moisture out, fold it in half to get your crease, flip it, do it on this side, flip it over, do it on the opposite side, and then you'll have a nice crease down the middle. And then when you print out your item, now I like to trim around mine. So before I trim it, I fold it in half and get a little crease at the top and get a little crease at the bottom. And then I mark the top. Ask me why I marked the top. I did one upside down by accident. So, and I do it with a friction pen, and it disappears. It doesn't go into the sublimated item, but it makes it nice and simple. And then you can just line it up on the crease on your garment, and you're ready to go. Super simple. So that is my tip for you for the day if you're planning on doing any sublimation, because it is quite addicting because you can get stuff done really, really quickly. Okay, Francis. So you're making a design and it's a round face and the outline didn't cover it. Okay. So what's happening is it's a push-pull kind of thing. It's called pull compensation. When your stitches travel along in a direction, when they get to the edge, they wrap in. So you add in pull compensation. Let me see if I can show you what I'm talking about here. Oops, it does help if I share my screen, doesn't it? Okay, so let me open up a new one. I may have not picked the right thing to share. Yep, I forgot. Hold on. Let me share the entire screen, not just the window. There we go. Okay, so if you're in here and you're doing a circle, so your face is an oval, you're saying, and your outline's not meeting it. So I'll change this to, I'm going to change it to a peachy color, kind of. There we go. And we'll do just a running stitch so you can really see what's going on. And I'm going to change it to a, just stitch view instead of realistic view. So if I come and look, so you see how my stitches are peeking out in the direction that the stitches are going. That is when when it's good. That means I have pull compensation. So you can see my pull compensation right here is 0.3. If I reduce that down to nothing, it will be right up close to the edge of that. You want it to extend beyond it, especially if you're doing it on a knit, because if it doesn't, then when it pulls and wraps around, it's not going to meet your outline. So I don't know if you were in PE Design or if you were on the Luminaire or if you were on the Dream Machine or the Stellaire. You didn't say. There is pull compensation on those machines. Add just a little bit in. Do it in metric. Do 2 to 3 millimeters, and that should take care of it. Okay. Good to see everybody rolling in. Thanks for telling us where you're from today. I do appreciate it. It is actually very chilly here too in Tennessee today. We've gotten quite the little cold front coming in. It was 22, I think, when I watched Princess this morning. May have been 26. Tomorrow's 22. It was cold. So it was very, very chilly. Hopefully that answered your question, Francis. If it didn't, let me know. Good to see you, Robin and Sharon. You're coming from North Chili, Texas. So let me know if that helps you. I think it will. I think that will solve your problem. So for those of you that missed it, last week I did release my new winter decorative fills. There's more in this one, so these are more expensive. There's 16 decorative fills, I think, or 14 decorative fills and 16 motifs. We'll look and see. Let me go new page, and I'll show you what we've got. So let's come in here and just plop a square in here, and we'll change it to a decorative fill, and I'll let you see what we've got. Let's change the color too, so you can see what they look in realistic in color. So let's see here. These are the fills. So let's count them. 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 14 decorative fills, and then 16 motifs. So we have bears. For those of you that are into the winter scene, we have stuff for New Year's or any celebration. So there's the champagne and champagne glasses. And then I did just champagne glasses in case you weren't into the bottle. This one may be my favorite. Actually, I'm having a hard time picking a favorite out of this collection, but I do love that one right there. I think the trucks turned out really, really cool. Then I did dreidels for those of you that do Hanukkah. I realize Hanukkah has now passed, but I did get it out before the week was over on Hanukkah. I tried to give everybody something this time. Then there's hearts for Valentine's Day, and we have mittens for just the cold. And obviously these can all be resized. This one is another one of my favorites, the ornaments. I think those turned out really nice. Then we have just pine trees. And then we have reindeer. And then we have Santa hats and ornaments. And snowflakes. The snowflakes turned out really pretty. I like those as well. Actually, I like them all. This may be one of my favorite collections, but I do like winter themes. So then we did the snowman and the trees and the snowmen themselves. And along with that, we have decorative fills. So let's see here. I may have the decorative fills just hanging out. I mean, the motifs hanging out somewhere. Probably so right here. Let's see if that's right. Yeah, let's change the hoop size so you can see what we've got. Oh, that's a little bit too big. Okay. So is that the right number? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, that's 12. And there's more. This one I just couldn't narrow it down. Well, shoot. Which one am I missing? That must be them. So there you go. Oh, I know there's a champagne glass. Yeah, that I had a couple of extra entries on the end. There we go. Hold on. I'm like, I know I have more than these. There we go. Maybe. No. Well, there. Aha. I knew I had 2 extras. I just couldn't find them. You can tell I decided a couple of them at the last minute that I felt like they needed to be added. So those are the new motifs as well. And I had fun creating them, I will have to say. So Caroline, which one is your favorite? The trucks and the ornaments? Yep, those are the Santa hats called out for you to color those in. If you noticed, when you may not have been here early on when I did this, I have on this right here, I colored in the truck and added a decorative fill on top of the tree. So that was kind of fun to do. That was kind of what I was going to show y'all how to do today. Since nobody called in any questions, I did not get a phone a friend, a text message, anything today. So this was what I was going to kind of show you how I did. And it's doing Sandra's technique. But this is really fun to do, guys. Let's pick our hoop size. What do we want? I don't want 1,000 by 1,000. I think I just want the default size. Okay, so when I make big ones like that, that's to where I'm trying to get, if I've made myself a user hoop that's huge, it's where I'm trying to figure things out. So sometimes I'll put a big, huge hoop in there so that I can see what's going on. But what I did was I grabbed my shape tool and I grabbed the line tool and I held my shift key down and I drew myself a straight line. Now, from here, I went to and I chose a motif stitch and I went to my sewing attributes and then I selected a motif, which I did the truck, but we could do something different. Let's say we wanted to do an ornament. And then I made it 100 millimeters. That is as big as you can make one. Make sure you maintain your aspect ratio and then make your line big enough for it to hit, for one of them to go across. There we go. So then I came in and I took my select point tool. Actually, I converted it to stitches because I didn't want the line going across it. We were going to do something a little different here. So I just kind of highlighted those edit points and got rid of them. If you want to get rid of these, you can add one right here, split at point, and that'll allow you to delete that and delete that one, and then go on the opposite side and do the same thing. Princess, what are you doing back behind me? What are you doing back there? I've got a little dot of my puppy is creeping along here. Oh, it's got its own little line. So let's undo all of what I just did there. Redo one more. There we go. So here's my little line. We'll double click it, move our cursor in, and press delete on the keyboard. Oh, still got one though. We're going to delete that. I'll split it point right there and get rid of that line. Then I've got the single line right there. We'll move it in, press delete. Okay, so from here, I'm going to select it all. I may have messed it up too bad from here. Background fill, and then you can come in and you can select the parts that you want. So let's say we want these 3 or these 4 to be the same color. Select them, go in here, and then just say okay. We don't want any offset spacing. You want it to go as close to the edge of that as you can and just say okay. Now, you could continue and do a decorative fill in there, or you can come in and say fill stitch. That's what I was doing, is choosing fill stitch. One thing that I would tell you is that you definitely want to add in pull compensation on this so that it fills the gaps in. Otherwise, you may have a little bit of a gap if you're trying to keep it gapless. Then click off, go back in, background fill, and pick the next parts that you want. And this time I'm going to change the color. And let's change it to red. And I'll do, let's try a satin stitch with these 2. They may be too big, but we're going to try it. Ooh, no, that's too big. So we'll make them all a fill. Once again, add in that pull compensation. And I would change my direction. So if you want them to be in give yourself some alternating direction so that everything's not going at 45 degrees. I would also put undersewing on everything. So once you're done, make sure you go back in and do that. Now, if it looks like it's going to gap, you can come in and you can adjust your edit nodes to where, let's see here, which one is this one? Let's grab it and grab our select point tool. So if it's not meeting, because it does come inside that outline, you can edit, you can nudge those nodes down. You shouldn't need to if you add enough pull compensation, but just in case you need to, this is how you would fix it. Just add those edit nodes and take them down to the line. And if you want it to follow the curve, because right now it's all going the same direction. What you can do is do manual curve, and you can come in and we should be able to, oh, that's not what I want to do. Manual straight line. Let's see here. Add a direction line, and you can come in and create your own direction lines, and you can manipulate the ones that are there. So if I want it to do a curve, I can right mouse click and say add a direction line and come right across there. And now look, instead of it being straight, we have a nice little curve. If you don't like how it curves at the end, go ahead and just adjust that little curve. Or add another one, add a direction line. And I'll add one right here. So now you have a nice curve instead of a straight area. So you might want to do that for this other one. Oops, got a little excited there. Let's click on this area, add a direction line. And we can just go through and do the whole thing. You don't have to choose add direction line each time. You can just come in and add them. But you do have to be on your select point tool to be able to add them in. Voila. Okay, guys. So you would continue on in that manner and do the top part of it. So if we want to come in and one more time, do background, oops, cancel that. Let's click off of here, do background fill. Tap that one and that one. Change the color to silver or gold or whatever you want it to be, and change the stitch type. And there you go. You have a quick and easy project done. Now, a trick that you can also do if you want to, let's say I wanted to give this more texture. These sections right here, I can select those, and then I can copy them. So you can Control C and Control V will work. I'm going to copy and I'm going to paste. And I'm going to change my color to something darker so you can see it. I probably would not use this color with it, just letting you know that, but here you go. So let's say we want a decorative fill on top of that. I actually kind of like the one that it picked default wise, but let's go grab a different one. And then you can change the size of your decorative fill, but you do want to maintain aspect ratio. Otherwise, it's going to skew it really largely. Ooh, I don't like it that tight. Let's go with 50. Then you want to make sure that you move that before the outline so that it tucks in underneath there. And that's kind of fun to do. You might want to adjust this one to where it's a little bit smaller because it's a smaller piece. But I kind of like the way it does it. You could pick a different one for each section. You can just have fun with those. You could, let's say we didn't like that. Let's pick one that's built in. Let's just pick a built-in decorative fill. These you will find under Program Files, Brother, PE Design 11, Pattern. You could put a crackle finish on them. You could, let's see here. Oh, the poinsettias, I kind of think those look like poinsettias. But those come in at a huge size, so maybe you go down to 100. Oh, I kind of like that one. Have fun and play. Okay, guys, any questions for me? No. Yeah, it's fun. I love the fact that Sandra shared the way to do that with us. I really had not given it a whole lot of thought until she popped that out. But you can certainly have a blast. All right, guys, I'm trying to think. I do think can't remember if the decorative fills are still on sale this week. If not, I will pop them up for another week. Let me see if I can find them. Okay. So give me till the end of the day to give me till after we get off here, and I will make that active again, because I think it did expire yesterday. I think I had them for a week only. So, but since I was out and about last week, I did not want to let it go before letting y'all know that they were out there. All right. Other questions for me today. Oops, sorry. Hit the wrong button. In the lower gold section, there's a noticeable long stitch. Okay. I can show you how to get rid of that. A rickrack stitch. Easiest way would be to, Kelly, pull your scan and cut out and pull the rickrack stitch out of it, or the rickrack piece out of it, and then you could actually turn that FCM file into a stitch. That would be the one I would do. That would be the easiest one to do, is to bring that FCM file and convert it into stitches. Let me see here. So I know what you're talking about. So let me hide these stitches right here. And you're saying there's a noticeable long stitch. Well, that is where that starts to stitch. Okay. This section right here is not really a long stitch. It's just telling you where it's going to finish. So if I come in and change where that starts and stops sewing, it should adjust that. So see how now I don't have a long stitch in there, the one above it. Okay. You're talking this little guy right here. So we would do the same thing. Let me go zoom to selection. I would come over here and see. Oh, I see you. I see the one you're talking about. This guy right here. It's where the other section was cut into it. So as you move it, you'll see it move along the path. Now it's gone. Okay. So just changing that entry and exit point will adjust what happens there. Let's see if we can change this one a little bit. That one's really about as good as it's going to get. Nope, there you go. So anytime you don't like where one starts and stops, and it will show you where it starts and stops based on that long stitch that she saw. You can always adjust that entry and exit point. That way you don't see that. And usually if you go to one side or the other, you can get rid of it. Where it comes in tricky is where you can't get rid of it. Let me show you what I would say here. Let's go right mouse click and bring in another screen. If I happen to have a circle, and let's say I have 2 circles inside it. Let's change these to a different color so you can see. And okay, so if I've come in here and I go modify overlap and I've set whole sewing, you'll notice there that you have a longer stitches going here, longer stitches going here and here and here. And you can't really change that very well. And the reason it is because, well, let's turn off our outline on that so we can not deal with 2 things. Is where it cuts out, it has to travel around it. So I can minimize it by not making as many or as obvious, but it has to travel around that section. So when it cut that out, it has to travel around it. Now, I have enough undersewing on here that it should not be an issue, but it's where those stitches meet up. So they're not really going to be long stitches. It's just where they meet up. And when it becomes a problem is if you're doing it on a knit and you don't have that undersewing on there. So if we go back to our ornament, remember I said that it did not have undersewing on any of this. So I would select them all my fills. I must have something else done. Put a check mark on the undersewing so that everything has undersewing. Otherwise, you'll have gapping. Things will not work out very well for you. So you generally, when you're doing something that's larger than your thumbnail, when it's stitched out, you want to make sure that you have undersewing on it. Otherwise, it will tend to not, it won't have enough stabilization underneath it. Okay. BES 4, if you have Power Pack 1, has the knockdown stitch. If you do not have Power Pack 1, you do not have a knockdown stitch. So that's where you'll find it. So let me show you where it is if you have Power Pack 1. Let me open BES up. BES Blue does not have it. BES 4 does. If you have the first Power Pack. Okay, so on your Tools tab, Nap Control is the last one when you have Power Pack 1. And you choose how far away you want it. And I always like to add a finishing run around the outside edge of it. That's my preferred method. Then you have a nice finished clean edge. And you always want to kind of make sure that that either matches or is slightly darker than your item that you're stitching it on it, so it just kind of disappears. Okay. Any other questions today? If not, I am going to wish you all the happiest of holidays. Have a Merry Christmas. Stay safe. Hopefully everybody has a good holiday season. I should be back. Let me look and see when I'm coming back. I will probably not see you again before the new year. Because I do not believe we will be back from our families. So Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, safe and Happy New Year. You all have, you make my week. I enjoy coming in and talking to you and answering your questions. I appreciate you all as individuals, and I always look forward to seeing you in person. So thanks so much, Janice. I'm glad you enjoy that you're liking the new fills. I would like some suggestions as to what you all would like next, because I mean, now I've got all 4 seasons covered. And so now I'm looking towards, I can go have some fun stuff. You digitize for a lightweight thread density. I wouldn't go up too much. You might go up to like 5.5 lines per millimeter and see. You're just going to have to test. But I don't know what thread weight that you're using, but you don't want to go up way far because you'll get bulletproof embroidery. But maybe 5.5 lines per millimeter. Try it and see. I don't think I would go much higher than that. All right, guys. If there's nothing else, I'm going to give you a second to see. You have hit my. That's okay. I can't do gnomes. I can't get on the gnome train. I don't know. I just don't know that I can get on the gnome train. Yvonne, 100 weight thread, you may need to go up 6 lines per millimeter. I don't know. I don't have any 100 weight thread to be able to even help you out with that. The heaviest the lightest that I have, I believe, is 60. Gingerbread fills, that's a possibility. That was going to make it into winter, and I just decided I didn't like the gingerbread men because it wasn't one of those fun things. All right. And like I said, guys, I do really appreciate you. I appreciate that you take your time out of your day to come and sit and watch me play with software. I mean, come on, really. But I also enjoy seeing you in person, and I hope to see everybody in the new year. I do have a class that I'll be teaching on the Luminaire in Bowie, Maryland, or Crofton, Maryland, actually, at Tomorrow's Treasures in March. And I have another one that is tentatively on the schedule for an in-person class at All Stitch in Northeast Pennsylvania. So those are two places that I haven't ever been to. All the one in Pennsylvania, but it's been a while since I've been to Tomorrow's Treasures, and I'm looking forward to going back. I always enjoy going to that store. They're quite fun. So you all have a keep those ideas coming, because I will listen to them and we'll try it. So thanks so much, Sharon. I appreciate that. I'm going to need it this year. I We're going to a VRBO with the entire family, 16 of us staying in, and I think there's 3 toilets. I may have, I don't know how I'm going to survive this one. All right, guys. Um, I haven't been to Puyallup in a long time. I have been there before, but it's been a long time, probably 6 or 7 years. It's been a while. So it really depends on the dealer. Dealers contract with me. That's how it happens. So, all right, you all have a wonderful rest of the year. Safe and happy holidays, and enjoy your families. We'll talk to you later. Bye.